Hello and welcome to City Folk Homestead. My name is Paige. I am a first-generation homesteader with my husband Dylan and our 4 kids. And today we are going to go over a much-needed seed haul. I purchased all of these seeds when MI Gardener and Baker's Creek were having their end of season sale for 2024. And I honestly forget what I put in there. This next summer, we are going to have a 2,500 square foot garden. We expanded to be another 1,000 feet than our first year's garden from last year, which you can see in the video that I will link below in the description box. And the first year was a lot of chaotic gardening, and this year I am going to be a little bit more disciplined in my planting, as well as have a better idea of what seeds I am going to plant and where. Last year, we had a baby at the beginning of the growing season, and a couple of weeks later, we had like a 2-week-old, and I am outside in the garden planting. It was very spontaneous, but that was our 3rd growing season on our homestead after moving from the city, and I felt like we just needed to get it done. So this year, we actually have a plan. The seeds are seeds that I have actually purchased, whereas last year they were seeds that I was just gifted. Our original plan was to have a garden in the back of our property as well as a garden that we have closer to the house. And this year we decided to just expand the garden to be 2,500 square feet total. So these seeds are organized with the original plan. So that is another good reason why I wanted to first get going on what our seeds are and reorganize them. These are all seeds that need to be started indoors, and I am waiting for some of my seed starting supplies to come, like a heat mat and grow lights and things, and I'll do a haul and get a room set up downstairs in the basement, and I can't wait to show you guys that. But the seeds that I have so far, I have 2 of the jalapeno peppers. I really want to try to make my own salsa and can it this year. That is not something I ventured to doing because last year it felt too big of a task to learn how to can diced tomatoes and things, as well as learn how to make an actual, it's not a meal, but it has a lot more ingredients in it. And so next year I have some confidence built up and I want to try that. The next thing I have is 1 Anaheim chili pepper. I want to freeze dry these and make a chili powder out of them. We have Cubanelle peppers, pepperoncinis. I have 2 of those. We have some cayenne peppers, and those are all going to just be freeze dried into different pepper, spicier powders. Our children are growing a palate for spicy, but they are still working up to it. And so I thought if we started with our own homegrown, then maybe that will kind of introduce them into those flavors and adjust their palate a little bit. And then it's also easier that I could just dole out their meals and then add some to ours after the fact. I also have some red sweet peppers, sweet banana peppers. I have a firecracker pepper and a fire and ice patio pepper. These are just fun. I like the different colors of them, and I thought this would be fun for the kids just to watch grow. I really don't know what I'm going to do with these. I do have not only my 2,500 square foot garden, but I also have 4 green stalks that I'm going to be planting in. And so I have a lot of seeds, and I'll hopefully do another video in the future where we actually map out the garden and what goes in the green stalks and things. But I just need a refresher of all of the things that I chaotically bought during the end of season sales. We also have a diamond bell pepper and then some bright yellow peppers. We have 2 things of Utah celery. I have heard that this is really difficult to grow. So being a second-time gardener, I don't know how well this is going to work, which is why I got 2 of them. But we love celery, and it is very hard to find locally here. And so that's something that I would love to just dice up and freeze to have in our freezer for quick and easy meals, especially soups and things. And then I have a yellow celery because I love actually the inside of the celery stalks where it's more like a baby type of celery. So I thought the yellow would be really good. And then this entire bag is all tomatoes. As for our tomatoes, I purchased over 350 pounds of local tomatoes from our Amish community, and I wasn't really sure how much that would actually give us in our pantry, and it was not enough. And so after spending hundreds of dollars on tomatoes, I felt like I really needed to have my own supply. And I've never grown my own tomatoes before, except for a couple of starts that we got just as a donation to our 4-H. And so I don't really know what any of these are, what they taste like, or anything like that. So this is really an experiment year. So we have a Goldie tomato, an old German tomato, yellow stuffer tomato, Sheboygan tomato. I saw that these could be used. They're kind of similar to like an Amish paste, if I understand correctly. So that is what that is for. And then Dr. Witchy's, I've seen a lot of gardeners that recommend these, so I thought I would try them. The Rio Grande is a slicer tomato. My family really likes tomatoes. I'm not the biggest fan, but I thought if we couldn't really use these, it says that you can put them on tops of salads. So I thought this might be a really good flavorful tomato that I can make into a freeze-dried powder. Quadro tomato, pork chop tomato. I've heard that this is low acidity, which I thought would be really good for my sauces because sometimes they upset the stomachs in our family. Amish paste, of course. Abe Lincoln tomato. This is an indeterminate, and some of them were determinate, so I kind of wanted a little bit of a variety with that, but that does mean that I'm going to have to get some cattle panels even within our garden. The outside has a fence around it, but I need to get the cattle panels in hopes of having them grow up them. And this is Aroma tomato. And then I have some extra seedlings. This is from what I grew last year, and these are from like 2021, 2022, I think, from somebody that I just got them from. So I didn't have much hope in these, so I wanted to get fresher seeds, I guess. So that is it for our tomatoes. You can probably see in the back here, I do have some mason jars kind of scattered around the house that have different things that I have foraged from our yard and just locally in our community. And I also have plenty of these jars around of seeds that I have saved. And so in this alone, I have labeled them. The small are green peppers that we got from the local Amish community, which were absolutely fantastic. The medium is a friend's pickling cucumber that I saved. And then the large are some zucchini that my aunt got me. So I have plenty of these jars. I have lavender. I have different types of like hot peppers, banana peppers. I have these. I saved quite a few seeds. And so I'm going to also have to make sure that when I map out my garden on graph paper, that I include these types of seeds as well as what I have purchased. This morning, the children were out playing in the snow and I made some homemade hot chocolate. So cheer, friends. I need a little refresher before it gets too cold. Okay, the next thing, these were all going to be in what I considered the main garden, which is what was going to be just closer to the house. And then I have some that were going to be like in the back garden. So this is something in the future I am going to have to organize a lot better since we're fitting them all in the same space. And I recognize that these are a lot of seeds. I wanted different types of things because this is really my first real year of actually being a little more strategic with planting my garden. I wasn't sure what would flourish in our zone. We're zone 5 and our soil is not built up at all. We have just put some compost on top of grass and we're doing more of like a no-till kind of thing. And so given I've not done any soil testing, I haven't cultivated our garden too much. So I wasn't sure what would actually do well in our soil. So I really just want to do a little bit of everything and see what happens with that. And then we'll know for future years what does really well and what doesn't. So I got these M.I. Gardner Homestead Collection light red kidney beans. I purchased some of these in bulk from Azure standard in order to can and have those on my shelves. And we use red kidney beans so much that I wanted to have our own supply, hopefully. And then this is the Midnight Black Turtle Bean. I have some cannellini bush beans, another Midnight Black Bean, Calypso bush bean. These just looked really pretty, and I thought those would be really fun to have in chilies and soups that the kids would really enjoy. So I'm also thinking about ways that we can get excited about the types of food that we are growing and then will ultimately be eating, because our palates still are adjusting from primarily eating out to now I'm learning how to cook from home and from scratch. Another cannellini bean. We did have some yellow green beans. They were not this variety, but these are the Sinestro wax bush bean, and they're yellow, and we enjoyed the yellow beans a lot more than we did the regular green beans, especially just eating those fresh. When we were weeding in the garden, we would just grab a couple off of the plants, and the children really enjoyed it. So I also tried this kind. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. It looks like it's French or something. So we have a couple different types of yellow beans. These are the green beans that I planted this past year, and these are a strike bush bean. Then we also have a Landreth bush bean. I really like the bush bean varieties because it seems overwhelming to learn how to plant and how to garden, as well as then how to take care of the plant in terms of having something that needs to be trellised or supported. So I really tried to find mostly bush bean varieties instead of pole bean. We also have the Jacobs cattle bush bean. I have purchased some of these before just in a can at the store, and they are fantastic. We really enjoyed those. And these are Arikara yellow bush beans. I have no information on this. I'm not even sure why this interested me, but I wanted to try them. And then this is just a secondhand bag of peas. They did not really grow too well this past summer, so I'm still debating on if I'm even going to spend the energy and the time in the precious space growing those. I didn't trellis them, so that could have been part of the reason, but those are TBD. Then this baggie is all root vegetables. We have some broccoli that we planted. These actually germinated really well, but then we had a lot of issues with cabbage butterflies eating them before we could get to them, but they were a nice treat for the chickens, even though we weren't able to eat them. So I might grow those again. The thing that we use probably the most on our homestead in our kitchen is carrots, and they did not grow well at all. They were very small even after I thinned them out. I tried them in the Green Stalk. I tried them in the garden. And so this year I'm going to get fresh seeds for carrots, and I'm really going to try to get a nice bounty of those. So these are the Danvers 126. I also have Little Fingers carrots. I thought these would be cute for the kids to enjoy. And then the Imperator carrot. And these are similar to the Danvers, but they're sweet, tender, crisp, and delicious. And that all sounded really great to me. We also tried a couple of different vegetables this year for the very first time from our friend's garden. And the first thing was cabbage. I did not know that I liked cabbage, but I liked it so much that in my most recent Azure haul, I purchased 40 pounds of it to preserve. And so hopefully I can save some money by growing two different varieties, the Golden Acre and then the Charleston Wakefield. And we'll just see which one does better, if either of them do, in our garden this year. We also have some white Vienna kohlrabi and purple Vienna kohlrabi. We were not sure if we would like this, but our friend brought one over, and I made a vegetable dip with some sour cream and some of my tomato skin powder and some different flavorings, and the kohlrabi was fantastic. We had a pretty big head of it, and me and my oldest daughter just ate the whole thing in one sitting. It was so good. So we're going to try two different varieties and see which one we like better. I'm also going to try collards for the first time. I have never eaten these, but I figured if we do not like them, we can give them to the chickens. And so it will not go to waste either way. But I think this is something that I'm just going to have to maybe test it a little bit with different recipes, because it does say that right on the back that this is very flavorful. So we'll see how that works. We also are going to try some turnips. I know nothing about turnips, but we're going to try it because we're trying to eat more in season, eat more root vegetables, and this would be a really good like winter, fall type of crop that we could have and just try something new. We're also going to try radishes. I thought these white icicle radishes looked super neat. I really like the color of them, and my grandma grew up on a farm and left when she was like 17. So that's why we consider ourselves first generation homesteaders. But she said she remembered that the white radishes were so much better than the other colors. And then rutabaga. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. I have never tried them before. We'll see if we like it. The thing with us being first generation homesteaders and stuff like that is a lot of this is really just experimental. And so I'm really not putting a lot of pressure on myself. If things don't turn out, that's okay. I think that's what led to a lot of my thinking with the chaotic gardening last year is I felt like if I just grew enough, I'm kind of destined to have a green thumb because everything can't die, hopefully. And it didn't. And so we actually did have a pretty successful season, which encouraged me to go out a little bit further. And sometimes this would stress other people out of having such an overwhelming amount or variety. And I really admire and appreciate the people that really want to hone their craft in a couple of things, you know, growing in the garden and then expanding. But that's not me. So I am going to just try a little bit of everything and see how it goes. Before we get to the seeds that I'm going to put in the green stalks, I figured we might as well just go through what I consider to be the back garden, because we're just going to have to find the space all in the same area as those seeds that I just showed you, because we are not separating the gardens out. Instead, that's going to be where we put a barn and have animals on the property at some point. So last year, I planted some long pie pumpkins, some sugar pie pumpkins, and a couple of sweet meat squashes. And these were probably the least prolific. I still got a few, but out of 7 pumpkin plants total, I got like 36 pumpkins. It was insane. And so these were probably the least prolific. I think there were 2 plants and I got maybe 4 or 5 of them that actually grew. I did have some that they just kind of molded after a while and got mushy, and I don't really know what happened, but I did like the flavor enough to get another variety, or another pack of the same variety. We're also going to try these Jack B. Little pumpkins. I thought this would just be fun for the kids, and yeah, just let them kind of plant these and cultivate these and get to harvest them themselves. Crooked squash, this is something I've never eaten before. Obviously haven't grown it, and we really liked yellow zucchini last year, and I thought this might be similar enough that we would like that as well. We also, these are the sugar pie pumpkins that I planted last year. These did fantastic. The sweet meats gave a good yield in terms of the size of the fruit, but the sugar pie pumpkins were the most prolific. So we are going to definitely be planting more of those. And then I saved some yellow watermelon seeds from a local orchard. And so I am going to plant those again. We also have a tender sweet orange watermelon. I prefer yellow watermelon over just a regular red watermelon. And so I thought maybe the orange would be something that we enjoy as well. Then this is the sweet meat squash that I planted last year. I only did 2 of these, and there's 20 seeds in here. So there's plenty more that I can still plant, and this was a winner for us. But I think the last kind of pumpkin, there might be more hidden in there, is a Long Island cheese pumpkin. I saw that these were very highly sought after for their culinary things. And since we love, love, love pumpkin, I thought we would really enjoy the flavor of these. The next thing we have is some corn. This is the Homestead Collection Golden Bantam. I'm not sure how this is going to do. If not, I know I have plenty of sources for the corn, so I'm okay experimenting, and if it doesn't work out, that's okay. This is a sweet Siberian watermelon. It's another kind of orangey color. And then I also want to do a lot of flowers this year just to attract some pollinators and get a good grip on having flowers in the garden, around the garden, because ultimately my goal is to have bees. So the last thing is some cantaloupe. I don't like cantaloupe. My mom does. And so that's a gift to her if anything grows. So for my flower garden, I have some salvia, some black Russian sunflowers, some straw flowers, vintage white. I saw straw flowers on another video, and I thought they were so cool. And I thought this would be really fun for me also to learn how to grow these flowers and then somehow find a way to preserve them in the freeze dryer and maybe do different crafts. I get kind of bored in the winter after having such a busy summer and fall with the growing season and then the food preservation season that I thought I might as well add something else to my plate. I thought these sunflowers were so fluffy and so cute. I really wanted to try those. And then the lemon gold sunflowers. I bought a lot of sunflowers because they were just so fun to watch grow, and we really like to use the seeds for our chickens. So it's a kind of a dual purpose. This is an Autumn Beauty sunflower. And then the last sunflower I got is this Velvet Queen. I love the color. I'm so excited to see these grow in the garden. The sunflowers actually did very well. All of them grew, the ones that I planted from last year. So I'm excited that I think if none of the other flowers grow, the sunflowers will. I'm also going to try some bachelor's button. I really have never really been like a flower girly, but my husband was so sweet as to get me a bouquet this past Mother's Day. And after growing my own flowers then in the garden and then having the vase for that one and being able to bring the flowers in, it changed me. I'm a changed woman. So I really appreciate the flowers and I'm excited. I'm not going to sell these or do anything like that this year, but I thought it would be really fun to just have some homegrown flower bouquets around the house. So then we have some zinnias. I've heard that these are like a garden staple, so we'll see how they do in our garden. And then I have this African daisy blue disc. I just thought it was beautiful. My favorite color is blue, if you can't tell. And I just loved the inside. It looks almost like a jewel or something that you would see on a brooch or something, and no words. I'm just really excited. And then this is a secondhand thing that we tried planting last year, and this is zucchini, the Ford Hook zucchini. I'm pretty sure these were the ones that didn't do super great, so I don't know. We'll probably still plant them just so I don't waste the seeds, but I'm not really banking on those, if that makes sense. Some of the other flowers that we have, I have this Coreopsis Incredible Seashells mix. I just thought the shapes were super cool. I loved the petals, and I thought the girls would really get a kick out of that. We have some Cosmos. This is Rudbeckia Sahara. I thought those were really pretty. I don't know if these are just, it looks like Baker Creek is a little more bougie with their editing and things. It just looks super high end. So I don't know if my flowers will actually look like that, but I'm excited anyway. This is Gaillardia Double Sunset. I thought those were beautiful. And then here's calendula. Because I forage and things, I want to start preserving calendula and making different salves and even using them in my bath salt kits and things. And so I just thought these were a really beautiful color. So I did say that I wasn't going to trellis anything, but I have it on the bag. I don't know if you can read it, but it says needs a trellis. And the only two things in there are peas. These are actually the peas that are commercially grown for baby food. And so I thought that this would be good for preserving, even if maybe it does require a little bit more effort. I don't know. I'm not sold on these. If you can't tell, peas just they're not my favorite vegetable. My family likes them. I don't. So I don't know. I should probably grow them just for them, but we'll see. And then these are all start indoors again. And so I should probably put these with the other section now that we are not separating between different gardens. So before I do the flowers, we have some different kinds of onions. I purchased 160 pounds of onions, and it was not enough for our family for an entire year. So hopefully I can grow my own, because the onions were probably the most expensive vegetable that I purchased over the summer. And these are a red onion. Then we have a Pompeii onion. I thought the shape of those was a little different. I liked those. This is a white sweet Spanish onion. We have another red onion, red Geneva. And then, like I said, we love our onions. These are a red long of Tropea onion. I thought the kids would find those pretty cool to just see the shape of them. This is a Cipollini onion. These are, I think, what you buy in the store. These are pretty popular. And this is Bianca DiMaggio. I liked the shape of those as well. And again, I'm not sure what is going to grow well in our area or in our garden specifically. So I just wanted to do a little bit of everything. Now, the flowers that need to be started indoors are some celosia, ornamental wheat. These are the green envy zinnias, rose snapdragon color. This is aster and their gala lavender. I thought they were so beautiful. So I'm excited for those. We're going to do some carnations. Then another straw flower. This is copper red. Bells of Ireland. This is Chadod, I don't know. Orange sherbet carnations. They're beautiful. That's what they are, even if I can't pronounce it. Columbine Giant McKenna mix. I think these are supposed to get a bit taller, so I'm excited about those. And then another carnation. And then the last one are some white cosmos. I actually planted these in my green stalks. And if you watch my chaotic gardening video, I thought they were carrots for the longest time in my green stalk. And I was so embarrassed when I found out. We actually at one point were trying to pull them out of the ground just to see if they were growing, because the stalk was so long. And I'm like, there has to be something under there. And no, it was just a root system, because it was the cosmos. So that was super embarrassing, but that is life around here. So that is all that we have for what would be the garden section. So that is a lot of seeds for 2,500 square feet. Even though that is a lot of growing space, I neglected to take into account, like for the pumpkins, how far they're going to spread at maturity. And so I may not be able to get to all of this. I'm going to do my best to put it all on a graph paper and everything, and just get a little bit of everything. I also think I can succession plant quite a few of those. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. And then the last thing is what I'm going to be growing in my green stalks. The first thing are these cute little tomato orange hats. I thought those would be so fun for the kids. Aren't those so cute? I love them. And then we have a lot of herbs and the lettuces and things that I'm going to be using in the kitchen that I don't want to have to walk out all the way into the garden to get. So these are just going to be on our back deck. So we have some lettuce, and we really like more of like a butter crunch, a little bit more of like a buttery and sweet and crunchy kind of lettuce. So I did try to choose some of those. And then if there are things that we aren't able to eat, or we just don't like, or something like that, it's just going to go to the chicken. So there is minimal waste around here. We have some butterfly spinach, giant winter spinach. I really would like to be able to freeze dry some of this spinach as well and add it to smoothies or have it be like a greens type of powder and things for the winter. The Mibuna mustard is for salads as well as our chickens. I guess I do have some more flowers that are in the green stalks to attract the pollinators. So I did put these green envy zinnias in there. We'll see. Again, I have to reorganize, but this was a free seed from Baker Creek. It's just the Genovese basil, and I have one that I also bought from M.I. Gardner. This is a Kale-a-bunga mix. We don't really like kale, but again, greens powder or for our chickens. This is some butter crunch lettuce that I received secondhand, and I did grow in my one green stalk this past summer, and it did a really nice job. This is black-seeded Simpson lettuce from the Homestead Collection. I think that's a pretty popular one. We also have oak leaf lettuce, some mache corn salad. I don't know what this, it's a salad green renowned for its flavor and use in high-class restaurants. And we know I'm high class, so we're going to try it. We also have some Paris Island Cos romaine lettuce. I really like the lettuce that kind of grows more bunchy like that. So I wanted to try that. This Black Magic Kale, probably just going to go to the chickens, but I will try it. Grand Rapids leaf lettuce. I wasn't sure how much we would like that, but I really enjoyed making lettuces, salads from homegrown lettuce. So I wanted to have a nice variety. This is Tango leaf lettuce. I liked how wavy and curly the leaves were. This is the butter crunch. Fantastic stuff. This is crisp mint romaine lettuce. I thought this would give a nice color. It's only mint in color. It's not minty in taste. This is the black seeded Simpson that we planted this past year in the green stalk, and it did well. I also wanted to try some arugula. And then we have some Mizuna mustard. So we have two different kinds of mustard. And then I am going to try the marketer cucumbers. Our cucumbers did horribly this year in the green stalk, where I had like I bought the trellis separately, and no. And then in the garden, no. So I think those were just from the seeds that I had gotten because they were secondhand. They were probably just older, but I'm going to give it one more shot because I do like using cucumbers in the juicer, but we really don't eat cucumbers fresh. So we'll see what comes of that. I will not be disappointed if it doesn't work out. The last baggie of the seed haul is for a medicine garden. And so I will be planting these hopefully in the green stalk so that they're close and I can keep a better eye on them because they are very precious to me, even though I haven't grown them yet. I really got a lot closer to God this past summer by foraging and creating tinctures with mullein and different things like that. And it really inspired me to know that everything that we need is really just in our backyard. And it's so sad that we think of those things mostly as weeds, such as mullein or dandelion. We made dandelion jelly, which was so fun before the baby was born. And plantain, there's a funny little story I like to tell where I had learned how to forage, and so then we were by a friend, and it's fantastic to have a homesteading community. If you don't have one, please get plugged in because they are a wealth of information that you will never find online, I promise. And so we were just going around the yard, me and my oldest daughter, and I was trying to identify the plantain, and then was putting it in my mouth and to make a poultice, and was showing her that she accidentally steps on bees pretty frequently because we don't wear shoes around here. And so I said, if you ever get a cut, a scrape, or if you step on a bee, you can make this poultice and that should help until you can get to mommy. And then the next day, the kids were outside and the oldest was teaching her little sisters how to make a plantain poultice. And I just thought that was incredible. So this medicine garden is going to be super special to me, and we're going to learn a lot with that. So the first thing is just Mexican mint marigold. Marigold is fantastic in the garden, even if you don't use it for a medicinal purpose. Then there's holy basil, some lavender. I have quite a bit of lavender around the property, but I would like to have even more. So this is one that should be a perennial, and I would like to maybe not do that in the green stalk and find another area for that. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. Lemongrass is not a perennial around here, but I'm hoping I can get quite a bit. This is a mint marvelous mix. We do a lot of apple mint tea. We have an apple mint plant on our property, and so I thought having a variety of mints would be fun. I'm trying to get into tea. It's more like cold tea. I'm not into the warm tea yet, but I'm working on it. I'm going to get there. And then this is some chamomile. I have 2 of those. I don't think that was intentional because they're from 2 different companies. So I probably just forgot that I purchased one at one company and got it at the other. Then we have some chives, another thing of holy basil. This is St. John's wort, lemon mint, marshmallow. I am bound and determined to make my own marshmallow with the marshmallow root, and that is actually very healthy for you. And so that is something that is a goal of mine. And then another St. John's wort, because that is very, very helpful to have in your medicinal cabinet if you're foraging yourself. And obviously we love our hot chocolate around here, and so to be able to have marshmallows that are made out of beef gelatin and to be able to put it in our hot chocolate for our family movie nights, that is the goal for the marshmallow and for the medicinal cabinet to keep us healthy throughout the winter. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I can't wait to see you next time. We're going to be going over my seed starting supplies and how we are going to start these seeds indoors for the first time. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.